There was a little bit of outrage last week when the NCAA adopted the new clock will still run after a first down rule in college. And in my opinion, there should have been rejoicing in the streets, not people being upset. And there's a couple reasons why. For once, there's a rule that benefits the defense. When all the changes when it comes to rules we see in every other sport almost always help the offense. Look it up. I'm not kidding. Now, for those that are complaining that it gives us less football, it actually replaces it with even more exciting football. Last drives will be so much more intense when you don't get a break every time you get 10 yards. It'll give us even better, more thrilling finishes. And to be quite honest, and we've seen this before, some offenses are actually better when they have to go faster in a 2-minute situation. There's not as much thinking, it's just playing and reacting. Now, another big plus is that this comes with two other very necessary changes. One, there's no more consecutive timeouts, which should have been banned a long time ago. And if there's a penalty at the end of the quarter, the penalty is handed down in the next quarter if applicable. We've needed that for some time. And lastly, it throws a bone to the service academies. Imagine Navy running the triple option with the new clock rules. I mean, they're going to be able to sit on the ball like Snorlax in the middle of a road without a flute to wake them up. Now, expect them to continue to pull big upsets year in and year out. We've seen what Air Force has been able to do as well. But in a world where we have seen college football shift to a totally different era with transfer portal freedom, NIL going wild, and people now being able to stay in college longer than Van Wilder, this rule change should be the least of our worries. And with that, I'm going to bring in former quarterback David Cohn, former wide receiver Blaine Crain, both played high-level football. Guys, when it comes to rule changes, this one to me, I don't think it gives a huge inherent advantage to Power 5 or Group of 5. I don't think there's some sort of caveat in here that just helps the big boys. And I do want to make this note. This is only in Division I and Division II. Division III said, nope, we're going to keep it the same.
I have no problem with the essence of the new rule changes for college football. I mean, no consecutive timeouts makes sense. It'll tweak strategy a little bit, but I actually liked it. No untimed down at the end of the first quarter and the third quarter probably should have been done a while ago. So obviously the biggest one is the clock will continue to run after first downs, which I believe is what college football used to do before like 1968, something like that. It was more aligned with
Then we went to the moon and changed.
Yeah, so if the rule to stop the clock after first downs had never been instituted in college football, we probably wouldn't be any the wiser and would have no problem with it. Now, I say it, provided that there's never a situation, this is just from an offensive mind, and from a tempo standpoint, provided there's no situation where the offense is already set and ready to snap the football and they're not allowed to because the chains haven't moved yet. I don't want to see any of that. If you're going to run the clock in any sporting event, I need to be able to snap the ball whenever I want.
For sure.
That's just from a tactical standpoint. My bigger issue is the reasoning behind this. This has nothing to do with player safety. Right? I don't even think it has anything to do with pace of. I mean, we're talking about a sport where guys strap body armor on and helmets and run into each other as hard as they can. This to me is the potato chip bag theory. Like I was telling you guys, when we were growing up, you go get a bag of potato chips, it's almost full to the top. Then it gets less and less, as we get older. Now you get a bag of potato chips, there's hardly anything in there. Eventually, it's just going to be a singular. Hey, I just ate my bag of potato chip. Right? The purpose of this is to give you as little product as possible with as many ads as possible. So the corporate execs, to me, they're always playing a game where it's look, how can we give the customer the least amount of football and the most advertisements before they turn their eyes away?
I agree. Blaine, I get that. I'm never going to argue that they're not trying to get more ads on TV. There's one thing they're not going to. I'm not going to act like this is under the guise of some type of purity or anything like that. But again, with all the different rules we have, and like I said, the clock will run after first downs, except inside of 2 minutes. It's the NFL. It's the exact same rule in the NFL. That's what it is.
I don't think this really gives a huge favor to either side of the ball. Because, I mean, if you're the defense, you enjoyed that break too when it came to the offense, moving the chains, the clock stopping. Like, you enjoyed that little break too to get set up. Because I think you're so used on offense just being in the shape of what you run, right? If you run an up-tempo offense, I always go back to Steph Curry in basketball. There's a reason why it's so hard to guard Steph Curry in basketball and Klay Thompson. they are running around the entire game. De'Aaron Fox came out the other day and said, when Delhi played him in the playoffs, Delhi said, I almost died.
Yeah.
And he almost died. So I don't think when you come to look at this, I don't mind it. No consecutive timeouts. Who cares? No time down in the first quarter and third quarter. Who really cares? Clock runs after first downs. That's fine. I think it's going to hurt. I agree with David. How many ads can we put into this game? All right. How much stuff can we show on the TV that doesn't have to do with football without giving people seizures?
You guys know we are all over sports gambling, whether it's UFC, NHL, NBA, college football, college baseball, college basketball, professional sports, Quidditch, and every other sport that they play that you can gamble on. But there's only one destination if you're in a legal gambling area and you're looking for a sports book. It's DraftKings Sportsbook. Download the app right now and sign up with our code CRAIN, C-R-A-I-N, not like the bird, C-R-A-I-N, because new customers can bet $5 and get $150 in bonus bets instantly, win or lose. That's what I call a safe bet. Only at DraftKings Sportsbook with our code CRAIN, C-R-A-I-N, minimum age and eligibility restrictions apply. See show notes for details. Guys, we've got the smorgasbord of everything. Those same-game parlays in the NHL have been pretty juicy lately.
They have been pretty juicy. Got one tonight, actually, a 3-legger.
Yes, sir. A little college baseball, too?
I don't have enough TVs in my house. I need more. I need to turn it into a Best Buy. I'm trying to bet everything that walks.
Well, I just want my room to look like the architect from The Matrix with all those TVs in there where I can just look and look and look and look and look. Because then I'd never leave my house. But the fastest, easiest, most efficient, and best way to gamble, that's with DraftKings Sportsbook. Use that promo code CRAIN, C-R-A-I-N, so you can see rain. I know they want to show as many ads as possible. I totally understand that. But when I look at this, the clock's running. So, like, how many more ads can you really show, though, with the clock? I know in perpetuity for the whole game, there's going to be some advantage. But how many do you think? Is there like a number? Is there like another minute worth of ads? Because to me, the game gets over quicker, therefore lessening the chance for you to have
that
ads.
is the question. That's what I'm talking about. Does the total runtime of the game shrink or not? Because
it has to, right?
You say that. I'm talking about the 10 plays. They're saying on average 7 to 10 fewer plays per game will get run over the course of a season. That's 120 fewer plays, right? Does that time mean the game is shortened? Like they're saying it will be, and maybe this first year, maybe it will. They'll put something out just like Major League Baseball. On average, games were 18 minutes shorter this year.
Yeah.
Make no mistake, the runtime of the games will remain the same. You'll get less football and more ads, just like you get fewer potato chips, and the price goes where? Up. Does the price go down on your potato chips when they give you fewer of them? No, it goes up. Another thing I was going to say, they probably should have instituted this before spring practice, right? So teams could have actually practiced for this in the spring. It would have been a great
I wonder how many coaches knew this was coming. I wonder how many of them did, but again, you would like...
Maybe they did. That's fair.
Out in the forefront.
So when you guys were coaching, you were getting rule changes in advance?
We had an idea. Yeah. So what would happen is they would send like a referee, like a representative, to sit down with the coaches and have a slideshow, and he would say, these are the new rules, and it would have clips, like targeting, right? That was a huge deal when I was in it. They would show you 9 different areas of targeting. Like, here's what we're looking for. Like, if it's Wednesday past 3 o'clock and the sun's is rising in the same place it did from the winter solstice last year, it's targeting. They would go through this whole gambit, which I liked, especially as a special teams guy, because they'll change the rules in special teams on you in a heartbeat, and it'll be totally different. They'd be like, how about we play with 7? Like, you're going to play with 7. They start in 4 different quadrants.
Figure it out, Jake.
So they do know. The coaches did know. I wonder how much of it was actually implemented during the spring. But you would like for it to go ahead and say, all right, it's already out there or whatever.
They brought those guys in to talk to the team as well. I just never knew whether or not that was before or after the official rule.
And I always knew the players didn't pay attention. Like, half the players didn't pay attention.
I was taking notes.
Yeah, well, you're a quarterback. Man, I coached the DBs. They could give a damn about that guy coming there. Like, man, I'm just going to pick the ball. That's what I'm going to do. All right, let's get to the Booster Club before we get to best.
Do you wear extra strong cologne?
Huh?
You wear extra strong cologne?
I don't know.
Because Jake's extra strong cologne donated $10.
Well, tell him I said thanks.
Yeah, and he says, given the unpredictability in the NBA, Western Conference playoffs this season, how likely could we see a potential Warriors versus Lakers series to determine who will go to the finals?
Nothing would shock me right now. I mean, you look at all the injuries we've had in the NBA, but, going through it, guys, there's not an NBA series that's been decided yet. I mean, in the West. I mean, right, the Kings almost go and beat the Warriors. Not that it would have decided it, but the Nuggets didn't win last night. We've got everybody is still playing. Then you look over in the East. We know what the Sixers did. But at the end of the day, it's very, very hard when you have experienced guys in the playoff. And I know that Van Gundy says that experience in the playoffs really doesn't matter as much as people think. I just disagree. And I think you've seen it because teams don't panic, right? The Lakers are not going to panic with LeBron and Anthony Davis. The Warriors aren't going to panic with Steph Curry and Klay Thompson and Draymond Green. And you go through these ebbs and flows in these games. I don't think there is more ebb and flow in any other sport, professional or college, than there is in NBA games. It is amazing how different teams can be quarter to quarter in the NBA. And maybe because the NBA is in the quarter systems and college is just in the halves, so there's one break in between. But you talk about looking like totally different teams. How many times have we seen a team just totally change from the third quarter to the fourth quarter, or the first quarter to the second quarter, or the second quarter to the third quarter? The ebb and flow is crazy. And why are we not shocked by this in the Western Conference? It's all we saw all season. It was a log jam the whole year, outside of the Nuggets leading, which we know because of Jokic and the talent they have and Murray and those guys. But outside of that, it was just an absolute fistfight logjam all the way to the back, and that's what we're seeing in the playoffs. And I love it. It's good for the game, I think. Hey, YouTube, appreciate you guys watching. Remember, subscribe, hit that like button, turn that notification bell on, but always remember, we go live every weekday morning from 7:30 a.m. to 9 a.m. Eastern, so check us out. Put us in part of your routine, and I guarantee you, if you've fallen out of love for sports, it'll Nicholas Sparks you right back in.